Bonsoir tout le monde.
Good evening, Mr. Clerk. So before we start, first, I would like to Council Member Don McLean. He was a councillor in the 80s. I do not have the, he was older. Thank you. 1 minute of silence. We do have quorum. Everybody's here. And we have a council translation is working. Okay, perfect. Interest on the items on this evening's agenda. So session moved by Councillor Harry McEvoy, seconded by Councillor Emil O'Brien. Questions on the motion? Carried. Thank you. Adoption of the minute. So you had the opportunity to take a look at it. So we need a motion. Questions on the minutes or omissions, errors. Next item, public presentations. We have as our resolution, we're giving 5 minutes. Also,
Many of your citizens have come before you during the last year to provide facts that may have been missed when they were informed about why too. I'm doing this because we still have no concrete act and we deserve an honest explanation. That reply from your former town manager, the Pèlerin Wharf, on August 23rd, when actual correspondence is insurance company, but there was no proof provided of such litigation is not just our opinion. I've provided packets to all of you via email, used that councillors were duped into believing that there was a civil risk. Corroborate that risk. Councillors were urged to close the ramp, even if concerns. To this day, no one seems capable of admitting that former town manager, both of whom are still undeniably good for safety, yet absolutely nothing has been done to reduce the speed in that area for individuals who are not that pressing. Some citizens know a rescue boat launched from Point Sheen or Shediac Marina could rescue a child into the river with markers. However, Riverside Drive. The individuals who signed that petition did not request a fifth store access for first responders and small watercraft like command of your employee. You have closed and opened the ramp in 2016 when your bylaw number 64. I honestly believe that if those rocks had been placed on another employees, stop covering up your mistake and wasting our tax dollars access to the calm waters of Skiduk River before another summer has come and gone, or in my view, is the real liability. Thank you.
Voilà. En termes de prochain point, lecture.
The first letter correspondent comes from the village of Memramcook in the final of the Jeu de l'Acadie, and it will be from July 22nd. So they're doing like just a small fundraising campaign with various $2,000 to help with their funding. We said like a $500 donation, like would be more than welcome. It would give a so I have 3 individuals. Councillor Paul Boudreau, I hope I understand like the dilemma, like to fundraise. It's a great visibility. It's neighboring the Jeu de l'Acadie. So I'll respect to make the motion that we accept to do like $1,000 donation. So moved by Councillor Emil O'Brien, seconded by Councillor Michael Roy. Yes, Mr. Mayor. I have no problem. Like we go forward. So which budget will mention the budget? It would be for carried. Thank you. correspondence is from EcoVision 2025. As you know, like the town of, as the previous years, they would like to launch a campaign like application 359, like the one concerning like the height of the lawn in the town of Shedila that regulate this issue. So we cannot let our lawn grow. It's something that the council this last year, I think it was for the first time, like the application of the bylaw 59 concerning like the higher lawn for the town. I have a question, Mr. Mayor, about like you got like the tier message. I received the message that did not have the chance. So there's 3 sites they're supposed to go, like a municipal park. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So can we do something like for our tour? Yes, I think like we did something like last year's campaign. So the citizen also they can leave their whole lawn, Mr. Mayor. So will the town's park will follow like this? All those in favor, signify saying aye. Against nay. A report from standing a special committee. So we have no financial report. It will come. Did you have a question? Thank you. For the financial report, I expected like for a special project, like to have a list where we're at, like with this total, just so that you know what the balance is. Oh, so sure.
Are the last 3 months. So approximately 1,200 files were created in check stops. Concerning files of assault, break and enters. I know, and probably some of you know, there was a rash in Pointe du Chêne, suspended drivers that were stopped. 2 act, 30 calls for mischief, property damage. And unfortunately, there was 1 fatality on how we bring up our stats regarding motor vehicle enforcement. Last year, from January 222, in our detachment area, we had
within that 3-month period.
Exactly, last year. So this year area, we gave out 451 infractions. And within the municipality, as I signaled initially, I think that it's very important to do that. Because that's the way I'm thinking with that. So it was really good to see those statistics when I look regarding the transport trucks. Notify my members if you ever run into transport trucks out on that, help out with that. And also another thing, if we can follow up with the company that owns that truck. Another, we received some complaints regarding bikes driving just about anywhere type of thing, not exactly on what I told the complainant here is that I guess the bikes, they go up that road to take the trails across the highway. We see those where the trails pass in town, but or maybe you have, sometimes you go into the mall, you got a sign where we can think outside of the box and try to find a solution for that. But we're definitely going to check stops in those areas, as well as so that's about all I wanted to bring forward. One of the calls that has gone up significantly, I see that as a good thing, because it's good to have the walking at night in a construction to solve thefts, which is one of the big things. Most of our calls are with 25, and besides that, we have it happens quite frequently. Yeah, and besides that, it's just 2 or 3, and it's the answer.
Oh, thank you. Merci beaucoup. Parce qu'il y avait des membres du conseil avaient des questions.
Like was those bikes, could we set the roads, like just to give them maybe a reminder it might be something they could give like once they people mail to their members. It's just an idea. Thanks for the suggestion. It could serve them like people are complaining about, and it's a very small number. It's just something that would help, like maybe to calm people living. Anything else to do? Like the report from the fire chief. He's here this evening again. I don't know if the members had a question or any. And thank you for the report. Hours they were doing school visit, and I think it gave us like a. No, I'm not saying to do it every month for muscular dystrophy. So thank you. With COVID, well, we couldn't have too many visits in school. Like during, I know, like the inspector mentioned, residential or commercial permit. I think they're working on it, so we might have something. Item number 9, and I think Mr. Mayor, like the council member, had the opportunity, like to will continue to work hard on catching up on the various files, and we're also over the next couple of weeks. So we're working with interviews to trying to fill in those positions.
Pour l'année 2022 au conseil entre la mi-mai à la
So
fin.
you should be able like to do the presentation. So at the meeting, we had a meeting like with the engineer, with the Department of
Amalgamation or the reform in local governance, like the case. So we will try private roads on our new territory, which is enlarged, mission to try to better educate the population. The Shediac Bay Watershed Association is inviting the public to come by Fiona, the Hurricane Fiona. So April 29th, it's a Saturday, from build the dunes, to restore the dunes by putting recycled weather that day. So we encourage, we felt it was time to share that message with the public. Certainly, it's a good thing. And so thank you, Mr. See a question around the infrastructure program. Phase 1, it's in it was 2020. Plain Street is almost done, and Inglis is going to be done, as I understand that. Couldn't the town go lend money to complete the project for 2? The town is asking for authorizations to go take out a loan for one, at least Grand Pré, and perhaps in Inglis. The whole team will be there. Is this something that could be considered? Well, certainly. Question here is that we would be missing. We wouldn't have enough time. The last opportunities in construction season, with all the other projects that we have underway, I don't think we could respect that deadline. We had some surprises for us. Everything was higher than expected. With amount at a time and be able to manage all that. The other section, I'm looking at our engineer. Does he want to add something, perhaps? I think if it's the council's priority, we will certainly do our best. Schedule for 2024. Once you're done with Inglis in 2024, we have to wait for new infrastructure programs. Cost would be taken up. It took us 10 years. It's not to say that it can't come more quickly. The project was happening, and now we're halfway through. We announced it 2 summers ago. It's frustrating, but we can't control the markets in construction going up, especially for large projects in infrastructure and capital projects. So we're trying to manage. Certainly makes it easier to accomplish these things. Yes, thank you, Councillor Report. We're speaking of it's the LCL Construction Company, and there's some councillors. Yes, for sure. This is right now. The company is, and the delays that happened last year. It's a process. There's of the stakeholders have been advised, and the next step there'll be a meeting. It's also been in the hands of or not of court settlement. It's also file. I'll ask the question, and if you think that is once again for the new people on the council, date for the end of the project. And I presume, meant to understand, all construction project normally come with this project. There were some delays. Everyone knows it. So the process and who will be responsible, if you will, report to the council to inform us. I think he meant thank you, Mr. CAO. It's fine. Okay. For zoning, etc. And now for present a report, because we had meditated to present a recommendation. Take the time to read the small report, short report. It's a 2-page report on the part of the municipality. This municipalities around in Shediac for decades, whether it be on the Scoodic River or Shediac Bay, citizens like Caracat, Chipagan, and St. Andrews, for example. The issue of boards has also been a topic of discussion for decades. Although detaining access to the river for small boats via this property, most with the town's assistance, he's blocked access to the property. And the nuisance caused by the public, i.e. traffic, cleanliness, public urination, could be used to provide access to water for small boats. Pèlerin Wharf as a permanent solution. On February 27, 2023, has not met to discuss the issue. Council wanted to provide the new councillors an option to hire a lawyer to negotiate the purchase of the property from Mr. Pèlerin. The lawyer was also asked. Council met with the lawyer on April 17th, 2023. CAO has been studying the file since he started his duties on March 13, 2020 for small boats. This position is based on several reasons. Boats have included small motorboats, canoes, kayaks, and paddleboards. Not be in scope when trying to identify a suitable access to the eliminated. That's fine, but it should not be a determining factor. As mentioned, there are several provide permanent access to water via the Scoodic River. Nor has it ever, other than the right-of-way for the municipal street. Historically, as via the Pèlerin Wharf. At this specific location, Riverside Drive is a narrow using the street. At this specific location, the shoulder is very narrow, and which may increase traffic on the street. Place Riverside, a new 5-story apartment building, food processing facility located next to this location at the corner of Riverside Drive. Furthermore, this intersection is not equipped with traffic lights. Legal ownership of the penalties to allow for option 2B or to be modified to occur. If the town decides to convert Webster Park, and the town would need to incur legal costs to defend its position. The Riverside Drive Bridge will be used to cross over Route 15. This will no doubt increase traffic on Riverside. Growth, population growth, residential and commercial development, even family members. There needs to be a decision to turn the page. Recommends the following: that council at its April 24th boards looking to access the Scoodic River, and that council mandates the administration. Thank you, Mr. CAO. Okay. Yes, Your Worship, I have the motion and I have a comment and a question. Followed, administration reject option 2B and to be modified as permanent and long-term solutions for to return to option with other options at its May 15, 2023 option. Boudreau, Colette Boudreau. Just for this motion, I was a bit surprised the 2B and 2 South. I always thought that we could work with our staff and engineers to modify. Congratulate the administration for finding other options. The objective for the protection committee is safety of their options. It's one of the reasons why I'm supporting this motion. I moved it. And clear timetable, precise, detailed timetable. What the municipality is proposing. Know what we're proposing to finally have access to the water. Later on, I'll have my comments and my motion, Your Worship and members of the council. Councilor Brewer, the recommendation, say aye. 11.2. I think I would be resolved that the council accept the recommendation of the administration to do a contribution water supply project behind Polyvalent Luigi Robichaud. And all the rest of the funds will come out of a 1-282-3 Udro. Are there any questions? I see many of questions. In terms of access to water, it's 20 to 20 less costly. When another method to necessary. So it's more around $10,000 right now. Okay, so with the municipal contribution to the garden, before it was on Bro Bridge Street, there were volunteers with the potable water. Can we give them the permission to them that they do the work themselves, to the administration negotiate with them? Well, this is a question we'd have to check. It probably has some something to say about it. As Bob, our engineer, mentioned, we're looking at different scenarios that the season is really coming up and they want to start the project. So we're looking at different options. Polyvalent, the high school or the school district, the situation. Is it a blank check or are we paying for the works? Proof of the work was done. We would help them. I would prefer. No, it's certainly that was certainly the intention. We could perhaps cover all of it. If it's less than 10,000, we're looking at the question if we ourselves can do the work. If the municipality first know if the council wants to contribute to the project or not. Thank you. So yes, it's yes. This I have a copy of the lease. If I knew. Next, Councillor Patricia Brooke Chevalier. It was thinking of 150 millimeter connection and valves and all that stuff. We want to make sure it's properly done in order. Oh, that was certainly that has to be done. It's connected to the rest of the municipal water system, so we have to be sure that from infiltration, for example. That's why the cost might vary. Garden, but it still has to be a safe method. I agree to reduce costs, but when that motion was tabled last meeting, I asked to see a financial plan for that project. I didn't hear any confirmation that it was done. I just want to make sure that I won't support it until I see that with our community development agent, as well as the president of the garden and community gardens of Shediac and Pointe-du-Chêne. And they presented lots of places at different authorities, be it governmental or others. Hard for them is the question of water. It's not, the rest is hard to finalize and put in place. But they have March 28, as well as copies of all the applications for financing that are submitted, established a garden elsewhere behind the Polyvalent Luigi, all the works involved. It's a budget of about 125.
Did some application like to get the funding, but they did not get, like, they have a certain amount of money and various groups, so they're waiting for answer. Is it like the same or? There is an agreement between the two organizations. So this will be on the same site, but they will remain because of the big projects. So I presume like they probably did a lot of, and over the years, like they will bring it where they want. Enough money to start phase one, at least to start something in phases. If they do not have the $160,000, like, so what I could confirm, but I cannot talk on for like $50,000 in the bank, and they place an order like for they place an order like for wood, and they already have the money in the bank to start the project. We know like the seeds are not too expensive, but thank you, Mr. Mayor. A lot of questions for $10,000 for for $10,000 contribution to have the water access to build a community garden. I think the community request comes to the council's table for the 5,000 or 10,000, like financial plan for an organization or donation, we can say yes or no. But if we start asking, and Mrs. Councilor, you will ask the exact same question to the others organization. Since I've been here, we did not ask to the other organization. I think like, but this is my opinion, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Councilor Cormier. It's water, so I get calls like from the adjacent street where the garden, proposed location of the garden, about it's on the. So that's what they're telling me, like when we have the major rainfalls, like the water, with access to water, collaborate with community garden. So maybe to discuss this, I support the community garden. I'm just concerned that what will come from out of that, nothing to do with the request we have on the table. But once you're talking with the garden, so we have a resolution on the table. It was moved and seconded, so Councilor at the wrong side. So all in favor, saying five, against nay. One nay, Councilor O'Brien. So we have no new business for this evening. 13, always a few. Mr. Deputy Mayor Jean-Claude Baptiste. So thank you, Mr. Mac. It's not even a street, like it's a. So there are people living like at the chateau, they're starting back again. So people do not cross from the dollar store to the Casey Street, only getting out of the chateau. Like if they could block it again to stop the traffic to go for the question, I have to check. I cannot give you the answer like this evening, but we can night. So on Main Street, so there's a fence that's almost down, and so even like when you had like a snowbank, I think it could be a little bit dangerous. Like it's something like our municipal bylaw officer like could check the lineage of the street. To my knowledge, that's the automatically. Mr. McEwen, if I remember, I think we did it for 3 years. Streets like yes, like it went. We had a call for 10 information right away. So we got like an amount for 3 years. It was 80,000. I think those are several numbers on the top of my head. Is there a date like a report for the next meeting? I know there was a lot of circumstances like last 1,500 to recognize our precious volunteer could be done in the fall. Like so because they're very precious, like 3% for the rates, like to get to Parley. We could react to this like with along with the province. Is it too late? Is there any method like I don't know if we can discuss to the next meeting if there's no interest from the council? I mean that's other problems like Pointe Duchesne could have like illegal parking. So that's something I would like to discuss in the paper. The third point I would like to share and with the administration is the request for the what can we do for next time, like to bonify. For us we're almost last minute, so I think if the administration could look into, I'm not asking to be done tomorrow morning, but well, yes, I know myself to support it in the next round of financing. It would like so we'll be able like to give like a good package. It was brought within the list of a couple of years. I asked a question. Squamish River is who? Because we asked to the firefighter for rescuing. Like the firefighters, the police area, I would like for the possible area to have access to the water. Is it like the Squamish River Basin to rescue someone underwater? So that's what, like, let's say like an airplane crash in Chediac or the CEO and your administration team like to provide an answer and eventually get to the council. Thank you. Thank you, Councilor. It's a the multi-sport surface. Yes. So so we gave the, so we with better advantages said that we have to avoid the problem that was Anglo project sent to tenders, and then it would be assigned to a contractor. Switch it.
CAO, has there been any goal for Shediac Cape?
Yeah, yes, and no, but yeah,
Yeah, so the district,
they reached out
reached out to request a meeting. So the meeting.
It's Wednesday.
School.
this
is
week.
Wednesday this week, okay,
Yeah, yeah.
yes, the 26th, et cetera. So the meeting, I knew it had been set. I hadn't realized it was already Wednesday of this week, but yes, it's been confirmed.
I'm just wondering if you saw like from Ecovision Foundation, like put like two municipalities, a Capacadi, it could be, so send it back to the CAO, so we'll send it to you. So 14, like that will happen in the summer and asking for money. So we have to meet internally with the administration to review those requests and prepare a recommendation. And then the recommendation will be made to the council. So we have a process to follow, and as any other files within the administration. So we're doing our best. Project is on our list. And it's because of the procedures in place, like 14, we did not any bylaw in terms of motions and bills. So thank you. Request for authorization to borrow like a municipal capital borrowing board for the authorization. Transportation server the 89. Be it further resolved that the acting treasurer, Mr. Victor Boudreau, be authorized on behalf of the by the New Brunswick Municipal Finance Corporation. I shall move by Councilor. We only saw like the mic was of the deputy mayor was still on, so for borrowing. If not, all those in favor saying 5 saying aye. Against nay. Contract award. Councilor Emile O'Brien.
Soit résolu d'accorder le contrat IBA Wastewater and Water System.
Resolved and 1,260,274.02. HST net in Councilor Emile O'Brien, seconded by Councilor Patricia Bourcheval. Carried. Thank you. Be it resolved that the additional funding of 104,944 received in order to reduce the amount of the loan that will be required for this project, I shall move. So when are those work supposed to? And it should end in sometime in August. That for depending going from Ohio to all those in favor saying 5 saying aye. Or it's a sidewalk construction on the north side of Webster Street from Chestnut Street to LeBlanc Avenue 291, new sidewalks, 10-year plan. So it was presented at the plenary because I was a little bit shocked when and per like like a square of concrete. Sure. I think the prices are the same. Unfortunately, people say, well, they did not do a lot, but they do not realize the prices went up. I just want to put a value in like the $200,000. Like that's where we are. 200,000, like 120 buys you 120. You're absolutely right. It's expensive. So what's interesting, I referred like it's not we're not the youngest population of the world, but not the oldest. Half of the sidewalk project in the town, like long term and short term, for the future years to develop more sidewalks. Thank you, Robert, for the master. So carried. And for the last resolution,
work on the south side of Main Street from Point de Chine Road going towards partly this work of $200,000 total from account 23072.
Sinon, tous en faveur, on dira oui.
Question, so if not all in favor, signify by saying aye, against nay. CEO, it's not for the committee nomination. I just wanted like to go back on the question. Our like assistant clerk also like for the
So that's why you didn't see anything before you today. This year, it was already granted. It was Four Seasons Sports Limited. It was an amount of 10% in 2023 and 10% for 2024. That was the resolution accepted. In terms of appointments to committees, with the many, I will recommend that you move and second for warden, myself, and Councilor Roland Cormier. So if somebody wants to move this, thank you, your word, that the recommendation for each of the